everybody.
Welcome to Home on the RNG. I wanted to say it this time.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
You going to tell them who you are then?
I am Deborah.
I'm Susie.
Okay.
And I'm Blanche.
Perfect.
As always.
As always, yes.
And we are here today to continue in our sequel Palooza, but this one is a little different. It is a spiritual successor that was never released in the U.S., so we played a fan translation. It's not the first time we've done that, but it's still kind of rare for us to do that.
Yeah.
Today we are talking about Mystic Arc from Produce and published by Enix in 1995.
Great imperative verb there.
Produce.
Workers, produce.
Also known as Seventh Saga II.
I don't know which is funnier, the idea that in Japan they were like, okay, we're going to name the company Produce in order to motivate the employees to do what they need to do, or the fact that there's a famous video game making company that is Creative Business Unit 3. I don't know which one is the better joke.
That is weird, booting up Final Fantasy 16 and seeing Creative Business Unit 3.
Nothing says creativity like a numbered business unit. So let's go ahead and dive into what I think only Chris will have something to say.
What?
Personal history.
Yep.
Yeah.
Say my personal history of this is Chris mentioned it in an episode once, and I thought, oh yeah, that sounds like worth it checking out. Let's see. It sounds fun.
I did try to play it back in college or something, but there wasn't, or I didn't find like a translation. So whatever I downloaded was like not fully translated, and I'm like, I'm not going to do this. But luckily I got one for this review.
And I played it on my modded Xbox, which ran a version of ZSNES. And it was during a period in the late 2000s, I would say, of where I was just like blasting through all these fan translations because I could finally play them on like a TV and stuff. And yeah, this one was a standout for me because I had wanted to play it ever since I saw it in a video game magazine where it was advertised as the Seventh Saga II. I was a big fan of the Seventh Saga II, and I had been like forever being like, okay, when's Mystic Arc gonna get translated? When, I was like anticipating this one like heavily, and so yeah, when it came out, I was able to put it on my Xbox. I played through it entirely, and I have been preaching it ever since, like just telling everybody, Mystic Quest, go play it.
And spoiler, this is a preach-worthy game, I think. I really enjoyed my time with it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Let's go ahead and move into story and character.
The review's over. It's fun. I'm just kidding.
We're going to get so many reviews done today.
We're done. We're done. Time for a nap.
It's back, baby. You awaken to find yourself alone in a mysterious land. There are hidden doors connected to countless worlds, and you must travel through all of these worlds to try and find your way home. And maybe help other kidnapped heroes do the same. Unlike Seventh Saga, you can only pick your gender at the start. You don't have this wide expanse of characters to pick from. You pick your gender, and a lot of times in video games, especially nowadays, your gender doesn't mean anything other than just like the way your character looks, right? It doesn't have a mechanical difference, but here it really does. The male hero is built to be more of a fighter. The female hero is meant to be more of a magic user, and she gets access to spells that the male hero, doesn't get.
Oh, is that the difference? I didn't know. I heard that there was like a difference. Obviously, I played as the woman.
I figured. I played as the male.
But I didn't know.
So your main character was more of a magic user.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
And my main character was more of a fighter.
So I got like spells that you didn't get or got them earlier or something.
You got some spells that I never got.
Okay, gotcha.
The game takes about 32 hours to beat.
I spent 700. But you do you. No, I'm just kidding.
It is a fun game. So you start in what is basically a hub world, where heroes from various worlds have been kidnapped by a mysterious force, and you have to find the way back to all of these worlds. But it says I described it as hidden doors. Doors is nowhere near an accurate description.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, there's a model of a pirate ship.
objects.
If I blow in its sails and finger it in the back, I will be transported to a pirate world.
That sounds about accurate for the
Game of the year.
options when you have to interact with objects.
A little bit like Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom. This game is a blend of point-and-click adventure game elements, although not point-and-click, but I say that so people know the genre.
I was not expecting to like walk up to a fireplace and then get like a little picture up close to the fireplace.
And a list of interaction
and
options.
it's like, do you want to stick your hand in it? Or, whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of Sword of Hope. On
Yes.
the Game
Yeah,
Boy.
Sword of Hope.
Yeah.
It is
Ooh,
a
I
similar...
played the heck out of Sword of Hope too. Let's talk about that.
We will at some
I know
point.
we will.
So, for people who do love the old-style adventure games, this is back to being kind of like Deja Vu or the Legend Interactive games, where interacting with an object brings up a context menu of things you can do with that object, right? So, you examine some drawers, and it's, do you want to open the drawers? Do you want to burn the drawers down? Do you want to throw it out the window? These sorts of things. That is, and then you go into the worlds, and it is very much JRPG elements in the worlds that you visit, right? It is random encounters, it is turn-based combat, the story is very JRPG, so it is a pretty good blend of those two elements.
Although the story, gets turned on its ear many times, because as you're going into different worlds, they each have their own context, their own characters, and their own struggles, and they're usually through this kind of absurdist lens, such as the first world, which I don't know if you're getting to that yet, but
I'm not even sure where I would get in. Go for it. Just do it.
well, I was just gonna say, so an example is the first pirate ship world. You go in, and the goal of that whole scenario is that you are trying to settle a dispute between two warring clans of pirates, who, by the way, there's no ocean, so they're can't float.
landlocked pirates.
They're landlocked pirates who are still in their ships, still plotting against each other, with no ocean to actually attack each other from. Oh, and they're all cats.
Yeah.
They are all talking cats wearing pirate outfits.
Yeah, they're all talking pirate house cats. And
That did lure me in.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah,
that is how you start a game.
It is.
yeah.
At first, when you first get to the first world, I'm like, well, this is really bland. And then there's a talking pirate cat ship.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
This game is full of whimsy. This is one of the most whimsical JRPGs I've played.
Which is probably why it never came to the U.S.
It should now, though.
Did they?
We're ready
Have you
for
already
this.
said that? Did they do like a start official translation of it, like for release, and then?
So there was there were previews in, I want to say EGM or GamePro, one of those. That was the magazine back in the day. They advertised 7th Saga II is coming out, and it actually showed screenshots in English, but there's never been any prototype for an English version found or anything like
Gotcha.
that.
I didn't know if it was like Mother One, where it was like
No, it's-
done, and then they just decided not to do anything with it.
No, well, maybe. I mean, that could be the case. It just hasn't been found. But yeah, it was totally fan translated as far as anything that we can play goes.
I'm trying to remember all of the other worlds now because it's been a minute. There's the world where all the adults are gone and it's just
Yeah,
kids.
It's just children.
And that one ends up, you deal with a plot about demon sacrifice.
Yep.
There's a world of darkness, which is actually, it's kind of like an abandoned haunted house that's
Yeah.
a maze.
Yeah.
And it's a puzzle to figure out how to unlock the next door, and then a puzzle to figure out how to unlock and so on.
Yeah, which is
It's saying something when the first world of Pirate Cats is like the least
weird.
weird.
Yes.
Yes, it only escalates from there.
There's a world where There's a giant underground complex of technology that the fantasy surface worlders don't know about that keeps their world going, and the machines are breaking down, and so you have to kind of navigate your way between the fantasy world and the sci-fi world underneath. I'm trying to think of all the worlds now.
Going back to that haunted house, the way that you described it, of like solving puzzles to open the next door to get through a haunted house, I'm like, that's all survival horror games now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Honestly, that particular world, it's one of the shorter worlds. Chris and I were talking while Russ was stuck in traffic, and we were talking about point-and-click adventure games because I love them, and we're going to record a side quest about one of them later today. But I pointed out that a lot of the length of those games is figuring out how to beat them. Once you know the solution to a point-and-click adventure game, you're basically a speedrunner for that game. Yeah. Those games are real short when you know the answers.
Oh, I can finish Maniac Mansion in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I can do the first Quest for Glory in less than 20, and I am not a speedrunner.
No.
But and so the World of Darkness, which is that mystery puzzle house, is the shortest, smallest of the worlds, because the majority of the time they expect you to spend in there is solving how to get through it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll probably think of other worlds as we go on, but speaking
I like the one where everything's fruit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like little tiny people, I guess. And so they live in grapes and pineapples. And
It made me hungry.
You plant fruit
I needed
to grow
like
a
some
village.
watermelon while I played through that.
That was actually a really fun little world. Let's go ahead and move into combat system.
Have you played 7th Saga?
Yeah.
Well,
Except the 3-party members.
I know.
The combat for this game is incredibly simplistic for the most part. You get a few additional abilities, but mostly it's just attack and cast spells.
Yeah.
Like 7th Saga, whoever in your party last took an action is who the enemies are going to attack on their turn. But again, you don't know when the enemies are going to go, so you can't really manipulate that mechanic very well for yourself. Like, you can try. You can try to manipulate that mechanic a little bit because you have some control over which party member takes the next turn. But I think it would be a lot more fun if there was a turn meter and you could actually manipulate to protect your weaker members. Enemies and bosses are often very smart about healing themselves, which is frustrating.
Yes.
I think we all feel cheated when an enemy heals themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I beat Final Fantasy back in the day with Chaos having his Cure 4.
I was literally going to say Cure 4. Okay.
That happened to somebody.
And you're telling me you didn't get angry about it?
I mean, you're mostly in a panic about it, really.
Me healing myself is fine. You healing yourself is cheating.
Yeah.
It's incredibly frustrating. It doesn't generally make the combat any harder because they tend to do it when they're low on health. So instead of attacking you, they spend a turn healing themselves. Then you smack them around. Then they heal themselves. Then you smack them around until they run out of magic or forget to heal themselves, and then you win.
It just makes everything longer.
It does.
Yeah.
It draws things out unnecessarily.
It's kind of a damage check. Can you do enough damage to this boss that they can't heal themselves too quickly?
True.
As characters level up, they also gain...
Just a really quick side note, because it's on my mind, because the remaster is coming out. That slime boss in Lunar Silver Star on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Did you play that? You will eventually. We played Lunar.
Yeah, we played the first two Lunars. Silver Star was the first one, right?
Was the first one.
I loved the
And the
first
slime boss heals itself every single turn. And unless you have Alex doing his sword skill every single turn, then you cannot like do more damage than he heals himself. Anyway, this isn't a Lunar review, but that's the first thing I thought. Like, that's what I go to when I see the boss repeatedly like healing itself. Like, oh my god.
Perfect example.
Yeah. As characters level up, they also gain skills which are free to use. There's not skill points or anything. You just, instead of an attack, you can use a skill. One of the magic users I had the witch in my party.
Yes.
And I guess
Loved her.
we didn't talk much in characters about the other heroes, so I guess we can talk about that after this. Yeah. She has a skill that allows her to drain MP from enemies, which is so useful for fueling her magic and limiting the enemy's ability to heal, but it rarely works on bosses.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of enemies that don't have any magic at all.
If you play Seventh Saga as Legis, the demon, then he has that same spell like very early on, so that actually ends up being like a most of the game strategy for that character. So as a person who first beat Seventh Saga with Legis as the character, I was very in tune with the witch when I played through Mystic Arc the first time.
I played Seventh Saga as Asuna, but Legis was like my companion.
Legis and Asuna, you'd think being two black magic users, they wouldn't be a great team.
But they're great.
They're a fantastic
great
team
together.
They're fantastic, yeah.
So we should have talked about this a little bit more in characters, or we could talk about it in innovations, but instead we're doing it in combat system.
I mean, that's what the characters are for. There's no other reason to have them.
Yeah,
very true.
The statues.
They have
as you progress through the game, and I'll address this a little bit more in detail in innovations, you gain the ability to have more party members, up to 3. And which
actually makes sense. I always wondered when I first played Seventh Saga, like, when am I going to get my third party member?
Because the game, the layout of the screen...
The layout of the screen literally looks like there should be 3.
And in this one there are.
Yeah.
There are figurines in the hub world that you can pick up and stick in your inventory, and they can become your party members as you visit these other worlds. I took the Witch and Lux. Those were my 2 main... for the whole thing, Lux being the robot, possibly the robot from Seventh Saga. Why not? There's not a way to disprove or prove that fan theory.
So, okay, we were talking about this beforehand, but there's a one-off NPC in the Seventh Saga that says Tetsujin, well, it's Iron Man. Iron Man is the direct translation of the Japanese to that. So Tetsujins can change their body depending on what they equip. And so I always assumed when I saw like a slightly different Lux, I was like, this might be the same Lux, and he's just different because it's a different time.
Yeah. It's entirely possible.
Different equipment.
So who were your favorite companions?
Oh, I mean, I saw Ninja. I go with Ninja.
I was gonna say Witch and Ninja guy.
There's a Ninja guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's also a Troll Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't use him that
and
much.
And a Samurai.
Yeah. That's like the...
And a Cleric sort?
Yeah. The Cleric is really good because healing is fantastic. So I usually did take the healer with me, and yeah, either the ninja or the what was that lady? The lady warrior. I don't remember her name.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't use her.
Yeah, I used her a bit. I didn't end up using the ogre very much, just because I was like, well, I'm not a big Wilmy fan, and this looks like Wilmy to me, even though his name is like extremely close to Camille Dawana.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that name, but a little bit mixed up, which is the human character in Seventh Saga, who's like objectively the worst.
Right.
Camille's like
I started out my first playthrough trying to play as him because strategy guides were like, this is for the beginner or whatever. But,
and he looks cool.
Yeah.
He's like such a cool looking knight. Like you'd never see armor like his in like other games, but it's like, yeah, you get along and you're just like, this sucks. Yeah. And then you find out every other character is better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, we're talking about Seventh Saga.
Which is fine.
It definitely leaned on that ninja. I love Lux. Lux was I think the second time I beat Seventh Saga was with Lux, and I've always been a fan of robots. So a robot and a ninja, I was like, yeah, this is great. I love this. So I either alternated between Lux and the ninja, but always had the healer lady on hand. But sometimes I'd swap her out with the witch, too. I like the witch a lot, too.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and move into a section that there is a lot to talk about, honestly, which is innovations.
I just want to say, before we leave the combat system, some of those monsters are quite the eldritch horrors.
Hell yeah.
By the way. Like, some of them are literally, like, reused sprites from Saga.
I love the reused ones, because you're like, It's undead. I didn't know I'd miss these guys.
No.
Now they're zombies, but
But then there's ones that are like that freaky cat thing. That's oh my god.
yeah. And then like the giant rat.
I say that I love them. Like very, very good, like freaky monster designs. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, especially the late game bosses. Fantastic, fantastic for fans of like horrible bosses. And not that Jennifer Aniston movie, but you know,
Which I do recommend, by the way. That is a funny movie.
pretty good movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our podcast is becoming unhinged.
Let's talk about horrible bosses with Jennifer Aniston.
Let's talk about
and
horrible
Jason
bosses
Bateman.
too. With also, anyway, go ahead.
Let's move into innovations. So the radar system is back from 7th Saga, which is the only other game where we've seen that system, where encounters are completely random. You can't see them on the map, but you can see them on the radar in the corner, and they tend to swarm towards you even when you're standing still.
Yeah.
There is some limited ability to avoid encounters if you want to, in some circumstances, where you have enough room to move around.
Yeah, I felt like it was less easy to avoid them in this than it was in 7th Saga. In 7th Saga, there were like dungeons where I felt it was pretty easy to avoid all the encounters.
I think a lot of the reason for that is because most of 7th Saga is very wide open.
Yeah,
but
that's
this
true.
game has a lot more paths.
True.
This one sounds like an insult, and I just want to be clear, I really like this game. Because this game is a little bit like Dragon Quest VII we have at home, where the general plot is go to a new world, solve their problems, which unlocks the next world where you can go to and solve their problems, which unlocks the next world.
That's really good.
I mean, Dragon Quest VII is one of my favorite games ever. So
Dragon Quest VII is great. Dragon Quest VII we have at home is not necessarily an insult.
No, that's
because I
true.
love Dragon Quest VII, and this game is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's like 100 hours less than
Yeah.
Dragon Quest VII. So
True.
I love that. I'm going to use that somewhere.
So, the game is called Mystic Arc, and it's because as you beat each world, what you're doing is you're collecting the arcs from these worlds. The arcs are magical artifacts tied to. There's a fire arc, there's a wood arc, there's a metal arc. I mean,
It's like the Chinese elements.
a power arc.
Yes. I mean, that's not a
like
Chinese
story
element, but
arc.
yes.
Yeah,
Character arc.
There are those kinds of arcs.
Noah's
as well.
Arc.
And once you get those arcs are used for two different things. One, you can interact with different objects for it. There's the Arc of Wisdom. Basically, you unleash that, and it's like, hey, this machine won't work. Use the Arc of Wisdom on it. And the arc releases a light that goes in and fixes the machine. But there's a second use for all of these arcs. The Arc of Fire or the Arc of Light, for example, can be equipped to certain weapons, which then imbues that weapon with that element. Basically, if you hit with the Arc of Light equipped on your sword, you hit with your sword, then they get hit by a light magic attack every round, which is nice. But it's power and wisdom, I believe, that are used to bring figurines to life. In the hub world, like I mentioned, there are, I think, 7 figurines, and you can just pick... In fact, I recommend you pick up all 7 and keep them in your limited inventory the entire game.
Oh, yeah.
Because they gain experience even if they're in figurine form in your inventory. So that's a way to try and make sure that they're all roughly the same level if you want to use a different character.
Yeah, it's like Chrono Trigger in that kind of sense.
Yeah. So you first get the power arc, which lets you bring one of those figurines to life when you're in a world, and you can swap it out mid-dungeon. You can switch around your party members just by taking the arc back from one and assigning it to another, which can be useful. I'm running out of health and I don't have the magic, but I'm near the end of this dungeon. Fresh party members, let's go. The power arc makes them a better fighter. The wisdom arc makes them, which you get later to unlock a third party member, makes them better magic users.
Yeah, that was the thing I was saying about swapping out party members all the time. It's I'd start with a ninja and then end up with Lux or the lady.
Yeah. it encourages you to swap around, even if you're like me and you are really adamant about keeping the same two people.
That's
and you work
generally
around
how
that.
I play games.
I hold on to that ninja as long as I can, but he is a little bit of a glass cannon.
True. Yeah.
I like that I discovered that, if I just have them all in my pocket, they all level up just from being around me being in combat. There is limited inventory. Your main character has several pages of inventory. It's not onerous. Your main character can carry quite a bit, and then each of your other characters, even when they're in figurine form, have a single page of inventory to carry additional things. And eventually you find at the bottom of one world a place where you can get rid of junk items that the game won't let you get rid of because they were significant key items at one point.
Yeah.
Amazing. I still feel like the best system is Lufia's Forfeit Island.
Oh, yeah.
Just literally buy anything back you've ever sold, just in case.
Yes.
Yeah. Really, really ahead of its time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just did like 4 of my notes at once.
Nice.
I'm trying to figure out. Hold on, I'm trying to catch up in my own notes. And I've talked about the inventory system.
We're
Talked about
moving.
holding them on. So this is one of the few games where I felt like I never had to worry about having enough money, even though I was keeping all of my heroes, even the ones I never used, equipped with the best stuff. I never felt like I was struggling for money.
I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't either, but again, I stubbornly tried to use the same two people the whole time.
Yeah, but I was equipping the whole
Yeah,
party,
that's true.
and just still, money was never a concern. I'm going to read my note verbatim here. It tickled me. This game has a criminal amount of unnecessary backtracking. Where it does...
Police have been called.
Yeah.
There are times you have to... Because there's not a lot... There's no fast travel.
No. I mean, you can, like, go back to the inn or whatever. You have that spell. Does the guy have that spell?
Either he does or my witch had it. I can't remember which.
Okay.
But it's not super, like, I can't just go, I want to go back to that machine where you get rid of key items.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm in a different world. No, you've got to travel back to the hub. You have to remember which object in that world gets you to the hub world, because it's not a door. I got to stick my hand in a bucket, and then I can go back to the hub world. Then I have to remember what was the object that gets me to the machine world. Then you have to maneuver all the way through the map until you get to the entrance to the underground kingdom. Then you got to go through the underground tech cave, and then you get to the... It's a lot.
Yeah, no, it is.
And that one machine at the bottom near the end of the sci-fi world is how you get a lot of the best weapons in the game. So I didn't. I just didn't.
Yeah.
I love the game having info options for spells and items that let you know what these things are and how they work, because every game has to call something a little different, right? And there's all these items.
Do you know how long it took me to learn all of the Shin Megami Tensei spell names?
Oh, I'm still not even close.
Bufu.
I'm still reeling from Phantasy Star 4.
Oh,
Bufu
God,
is
yes.
ice.
Bufu's ice.
But
I mean, I
when
know
you get to
all
like
now.
the Turangino or Raktajino or whatever,
Rakukaja and Rakunda.
no
and
idea what
something.
any of those
Yeah.
do, so I just don't use them.
Breath of Fire is pretty bad about that, too.
Breath of Fire, there's really misleading ones. Like Spark is fire damage.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Lufia does that, too. Spark is fire damage in Lufia.
Yeah, that's true.
But as long as you give me an easy at-a-glance option to like describe what it is,
Yeah.
then you know what? Use whatever wacky nomenclature you want to. I don't object as long as you give me a translation option.
I wonder what Ice Valk does.
When you're shopping, there is a trade option, which automatically sells whatever piece of equipment you're purchasing a replacement for, and then you only have to pay the difference.
Yep.
I like
And-
that. This is not the only game to do that, but I
Seven Saga
like
did it.
I like it when that shows up in a game because, I'm not going to be keeping that old sword. Thanks. I'm buying a new one for a reason. Now, there are certain games that take advantage of like, I can throw old weapons or whatever. But I like having the option to just like save me some clicks, save me some button pushes.
At the very least, I like the Dragon Quest method of them asking, you want to trade in your thing for this much money?
Yeah.
Or Shining Force does that, too.
There are hidden games in the hub world. There's memory style games. There's an entire monster arena where you can battle with monsters that you collect on the worlds that you're visiting. So basically, you can turn this game into Pokemon for a while if you'd like to.
And thanks to certain exploits, you can infinitely boost your stats this way. That's a huge exploitable.
I did not know that.
You don't have to know that because this game does not require you to be overpowered.
Yeah. No, this game was not overly difficult. I never really struggled.
But give it a couple extra hours if you so desire, and you can become a god.
I was disappointed by the sometimes intermittent breaks of like, do this slide puzzle sort of thing. And when I got to that first little puzzle on the cat pirate ship, I'm like, oh, we're going to do this to Russ, aren't we?
See me, I'm like, bring it on.
Yeah, no.
Or the coin flip puzzle.
Let me type this into YouTube really quick and just see what the solution is.
Well, now they got that. They didn't have that when I was playing it. I had to strong arm the whole thing.
Did we have any other innovations that we wanted to talk about in the game?
Oh, man. Yeah, but
I
can't quite. Yeah, I didn't collect my thoughts on it, so I can't quite articulate it. It feels like an innovative game.
It is, and especially for the time, for the original time that it came out, I feel like it has quality of life things that have only become more common.
It is a unique game,
recently.
And I got really excited when I found out there's a sequel, like a direct sequel to this game. But there is no fan translation of it. There is no official translation of it. It is a PlayStation 1 game. And even if we tracked it down, we wouldn't do it as a main episode in this podcast because they drop all the JRPG elements. Mm-hmm. It is just an adventure game. Now, that still sounds like my jam. I'm all there for it. But unless you can read Japanese, there's not a way to play it right now.
And from what I hear, it's not really something to write home about, but I don't know. I've learned in my middle age never to trust people that say things like that.
Right.
Well, plus...
Especially us. No, just kidding.
Plus, I've discovered your tastes tend to go against the grain.
A little.
The more the common wisdom is that this thing is bad or this game is bad, the more Chris is like, I'm going to find the redeeming value.
Yeah,
I'm going to
Final
enjoy
Fantasy
this.
VI, that piece of trash. You love that.
Here's the thing. When you love many things, then eventually something that you love is going to sound contrarian. Because it's just like, well, yes, but I also love the things everyone else loves. You know, I also love all the Final Fantasies and all the, whatevers.
Oh, no, I don't think you're just a contrarian blindly. I have just found that you are able to find enjoyment in things that most people can't.
Yeah.
Or don't.
I have a friend who is a contrarian who, hates Chrono Trigger but loves Arc-Rise Fantasia. There are people who are actually
Arc-Rise
really
Fantasia is amazing.
Yeah, I bought it recently.
But Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
Again, they're both great.
Yeah.
Well, she hates Earthbound though, so.
Yeah, that I don't really.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't really understand.
Get a rope. No. Sorry,
I liked Final Fantasy 13. I feel like I just need to confess this.
So one of my friends.
I know you did.
One of my friends played through all of the Final Fantasies on his stream, and when he got to 13, that was his favorite, and he still he replays
the battle
that one
system is really fun, and since that's really all there is, I kind of enjoyed it from beginning to end.
It's one of the two that I have just never ever played, so I don't know. I don't have my own opinion on it yet.
I didn't like 13 so much that I haven't really fully engaged with a Final Fantasy game since.
Oh, it's sad.
I have touched a couple. 16 is the one I played the most of, and even that I don't think I got halfway through before I was just like, yeah, I'm all right.
See, I also think 16, the combat is extremely fun.
Action style combat's not generally my jam. I like turn-based. That's why we're here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Folks, we're talking about Mystic Arc today, and
well, I think it's time to move into
the female protagonist's little braid.
Everybody's favorite part of the review, when Russ and I take a nap and Chris talks about music.
Y'all can get the pacifiers and
We are like 4 years away from me actually taking a nap in the middle of these reviews.
No, for real. Yeah, if I was just to go full ham on this one, y'all could break out the slippers and like the little bobble hat and like the little candle in a tray and like the big billowy like sleeping.
Get my cat tan.
Yeah. Y'all could turn the hell in because.
Well, let's see what Chris has for music.
Okay, this is one of my very favorite soundtracks. It has been a while since I've looked at the names of the songs. It's one of those kind of games that has overly elaborate names for the songs. I remember one of them is like, the composer's vacation is long overdue, or something like that. You know? And it has like stuff like, filled to the brim with courage, I am your partner. You know, like those are the songs are like full sentences. Like this is Panic at the Disco or something.
That's my most successful pickup line, by the way.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Filled to the brim, I am your partner.
Yeah.
Like light novel titles.
Yeah, light novel titles of like stuff. So, you know, and again, they've been inconsistently translated like through, you know, Google Translate or whatever by people sharing it because there's no American release of the soundtrack, of course. And the Japanese one is going to set you back a few yen. But yeah, this soundtrack, as opposed to the Seventh Saga, was composed by Akihiko Mori. Us Americans ain't going to know Akihiko Mori for like a lot of his more fantastic work.
I've never met the man.
Yeah, nor shall you. He passed away sadly in the late 90s. He was a cancer victim. And but he left behind a body of work that, again, I feel like Mystic Quest is like kind of the crowning jewel of what he was able to accomplish. It really is like such a stellar soundtrack. But if you are in the United States, if you ever happen to play Popeye 2 on the Game Boy, which is an action platformer, not at all like the Popeye like arcade game. It's actually like pretty good. I bought it. I sought it out and bought it literally just because of Akihiko Mori, and the soundtrack is good.
I played a lot of the arcade game because my dentist as a kid had it in his office.
Yeah.
That was like the one arcade game for kids.
Yeah. It's the one Donkey Kong is based off of. Anyway. And he also did Bassin's Black Bass with Hank Parker. A fishing game on the Super Nintendo.
We had that. My dad had that.
And
that's what he used the Super Nintendo for.
Do you remember the music?
Not in the least, but it is a small world.
Yeah. You know? And I can't remember if it was this fishing game, but like the guy who does Barrett from Final Fantasy VII's like voice acting for the remakes was talking about a Super Nintendo fishing game being his very favorite video game when he like got into gaming in like the 90s. And I feel like it was this one. Anyway, that doesn't matter.
Nice. Anything about Barrett. I'm very into Barrett.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Something for everybody.
Yeah. But yeah, so, you know, those are like the... Oh, and there's another one called Shien's Revenge, which is also known as Shien the Blade Chaser. It was a first-person on-rail shooter, but you're a ninja slicing with swords. It actually, I think, utilized the Super Scope and or the Super Nintendo mouse. It's extremely rare to find, but he did the soundtrack to that. It's another glorious soundtrack.
Shocked to hear that there's something else that used the Super Nintendo mouse.
There's a couple.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like a Lemmings-like game, except it's the Knights of the Round Table that uses the mouse.
Yeah.
I never use it for anything except paint.
There's a Tin Star, which and there's also
Tin Star. Yeah.
This is Japanese only, but there's a puzzle game called Mario and Wario that used it. Anyways, so yeah, Akihiko Mori, go look for a little while across like, you know, YouTube or whatever, find some of his soundtracks and listen, because he was a very, very good talent, even though he was taken away from us in his mere 20s. Yeah, and it was right after, really only a couple years after this soundtrack came out. So yeah, I have a special place in my heart for the Mystic Quest soundtrack. So again, it is glorious. You have, you know, like things like there's the somber hub world music, which probably bored a lot of people. It's actually a good composition, but once you get into the world and like, you know, like into the cat pirate ships, for instance, you know, you've got a really cool like heroic march for the Bloodhook that's one of the translations anyway, is the Bloodhook Gang. And then you get to the gun boss theme, and it's this stellar funk and jazz, like, hybrid kind of tune.
I wish I knew a video game cover band that did funk music.
I might have actually reserved that one for a solo album I'm working on.
Nice.
Yeah, anyways. You get into the battle
For the
themes.
record, I was referencing, for our listeners, the Super High Tops, which is Chris's band that does
Funk video
very,
game
very
music.
excellent funk video game covers. I got to listen to them live, and it was a great time.
Oh, thank you. I would definitely be more than happy to cover Mystic Arc with them, but I'm actually working on some stuff on my own that's going to include Mystic Arc. Anyways, and then you get it out into like the battle themes, and there's like 6 or 7 battle themes in this game. It actually has several regular battle themes because, you know, like Seventh Saga had 2. No, actually 3. Sorry. So, but this one also has several boss themes, including this like really super like heavy metal one that's like so fun. You know, uses a China cymbal, just big chuggy guitars, and you know, big double bass. And like we weren't really, even though we had Mystic Quest, you know, back then to really kind of satisfy that need for real driving metal and stuff, like we still didn't hear a lot of it in the Super Nintendo era. And I feel like this game really kind of elevates that. You've got the like haunted house theme, which actually incorporates like Scream samples that kind of appear not randomly, but in a way that it actually can get you. Like, you know, you're sitting there going through the house and you hear like the actual scream, and you're like, oh shit. And it also has what they call the techno house theme, which is what plays in the arena, and that's another like really, really cool like kind of not a really techno theme. It's kind of swinging in a way, but it's like swinging with techno. It's like a very odd number and stuff, but it's just every new area you get to, like you'll find a new surprising like actually really badass tune. Like I said, it's a hefty soundtrack because it's, you know, late era Super Nintendo game. You know, they had bigger cartridges they were putting things on, which sadly is what kept a lot of them from coming out in the US because they didn't want to pay for the cartridges. But nevertheless, yeah, this is one of the top Super Nintendo RPG soundtracks. I absolutely recommend you go give it a listen. Don't try and buy the soundtrack. Again, it's ultra expensive because people have figured out that this obscure little game is a banger and a half in terms of soundtrack. And yeah, I could go on, but I feel like Russ and what's your name? I feel like Russ and Jeff are just waking up now.
Yeah. I'm taking off my eye mask. Yeah.
So
Taking off the cucumbers off your eyes.
Yes, exactly.
Well, then I guess it's time for our final thoughts. So I really think this game does a lot right, and it tries a lot of new things. I love it when games try a lot of new things, but I especially love it when most of them land. I do want to I'm counting off a little bit for the very simplistic combat when, you know, because combat is the main gameplay loop of a JRPG for the most part. So I feel like you want to make it interesting, you want to make it fun. And here it's fine. I felt, and the extreme amount of backtracking, but the characters and the worlds are charming and fun. The adventure game elements are refreshing and enjoyable. I'm giving it an A-. I really do recommend checking this game out.
I'm sorry, I'm stifling laughter because I put my hands in my lap and there are 2 dog tongues just all over my hands.
You should see a doctor.
Yeah, it's creepy. Creepy but sweet. I agree with everything that you said, except that I do like just simple random battles.
Well, sure.
There's something very peaceful about it to me. So I'm very okay with the battle system. I just give it a little bit of a knock for.
I just got a dog tongue between my toes.
Oh Jesus. I give it a few points off because I don't like all of those stupid little puzzles that you have to do in the middle of what is otherwise a very fun RPG. It's just not my thing. But yeah, overall, I give it 4 out of 5 little wooden statues that become heroes.
Nice.
The little puzzles didn't add or detract for me. I appreciated them as a way to like break up and add some variety, but they didn't.
I was like, okay, let's close this window and let's get my phone.
It's been like 4 months since I played the game for this review, and I have all these notes. I legit forgot about those little puzzles until you mentioned them, and I was like, oh, that's right, those were in there.
They were.
That's like the thing that stuck with me the most through the years. Well, okay, I'm going to say that for one, I love the 7th Saga. You may refer to that episode to hear me talk about that game being like just utter perfection. However, I will say that with the 7th Saga, one can find the battle system very frustrating. Dying all the time and, having to invest in jewelry because you're going to lose half your money in the next dungeon and stuff. It's a game that keeps you on your toes, which is very nice. This game offers not only a vast expansion on the gameplay premisi that was set up in the first game, including a multitude of characters that you can freely choose from, which is great. You don't have to convince somebody to join your party, just pop them on in there. And the battle system almost feels like an apology for the 7th Saga.
Yeah.
Even compared to the Japanese version, which I have played. It's a little easier, but it keeps you on your toes. This game, like I said, it really is a big experience, and the elements came together so perfectly in it for me that it, like I said, is one of my top RPGs, and I absolutely just give it an A+ full endorsement.
Fair enough.
Excellent.
Let's go ahead and move into plugs. I am going to be very egotistical and plug something I'm doing. So in the outro for the show every time, one of the things that our lovely voice actress mentions is my YouTube channel, Centaur Productions. I have started a new project there where I am watching the entire Criterion collection, which is over 1,200 films from around the world of historical or cultural significance. And after each one...
There's going to be a lot of Godzilla on that one.
So far, there's one from 1954. I haven't gone through all 1,200 yet. I don't even know what all of them are yet. I have watched 32 at time of recording. But after each one, I do a little review. The reviews usually are about 6-7 minutes long. I keep them short, and it's largely, do I recommend this film? But I try to approach the reviews, because I went to film school. I have a degree in film. I do not approach them as a film student, and nor do I just approach them as guy who goes to movie theaters and watch movies. I try to find like a middle ground between the two. So like, yeah, you'd like this movie if you're into artsy stuff. If you're not into artsy stuff, this one's not going to hit for you. And then I will sometimes find topics about the making of movies that I think are relevant to the movie in question. There's a 1930s Beauty and the Beast. And in that, I talk a little bit about practical effects versus computer-generated effects.
Yeah, the computer-generated effects weren't great in 1930.
No, they weren't. Practical effects age better, right? Like, even if you look at a movie with computer-generated effects 10 years ago, you can kind of see the age of them unless they were done really, really, really well. But practical effects don't change as they age. Practical effects can also be bad. I'm not saying practical effects are always better, but they do tend to stand the test of time better. So that's kind of the discussion. And again, it's less than 10 minutes per movie. It's on my YouTube channel. I'm updating at least once a week with that, at which rate it will take me 20 years to go through the collection. So,
oh boy.
Yeah, I got
two questions.
Okay.
First, in the 1930s Beauty and the Beast, is the Beast hotter as a beast than he is as a man?
I am a poor person to answer that question because I don't...
Well, I'm going to have to look at it.
I get the consensus you're referring to, though.
Because in both of the Disney Beauty and the Beasts, cartoon and live action, and Dan Stevens is not a bad-looking man, but he's hotter as the beast. So I'll have to judge that. And then number 2, is Kangaroo Jack on the list?
Not that I've seen so far. The first the first American film that shows up in the list is This Is Spinal Tap. The second one that shows up is Silence of the Lambs. And for a little bit, I was like, if those are the 2 movies that we're using to represent American culture in film, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like, that's fun.
I actually do own the Criterion Collection version of, like, release or whatever of Silence of the Lambs, because that's one of my favorite movies, despite the transphobia.
Yeah, they do try to soft pedal it a little bit. They say transsexuals are usually gentle. This person's not a true transsexual. They just think they are. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough. My plug has gone on way too long now. But this is a project I'm working on. It's a significant undertaking. If you'd like to check out the journey, check it out. Or not.
Zoe really wants to check out the journey.
Oh my God, she's so loud.
Was that Penny?
No, Penny's barks have a warbling quality to them that are unpleasant.
Penny.
Zoe's barks are loud. Penny's make you feel bad in your soul. All right, go ahead, Russ. What would you like to recommend?
This just happened yesterday, and this doesn't have anything to do with me, and it's a game that's not even released yet. But yesterday they put out the first trailer for Silent Hill F, which will be the first really new Silent Hill game in about 15 years.
F in the chat.
Yes, F in the chat, please.
F to pay respects.
It is Silent Hill meets Fatal Frame because it takes place in Japan. I think probably historic 60s Japan.
Interesting.
And this girl gets sucked into the creepy world of Silent Hill, and there's all these creepy monsters chasing her, but then there's also she's part of some kind of shrine ritual like you would see in Fatal Frame. It looks it just looks amazing. And after the Silent Hill 2 remake, which I think I plugged on here at one point, which was great, which was exceeded everyone's expectations, I'm extremely excited for Silent Hill F.
Okay.
And whatever it is. So, yeah.
How about you, Chris? Plug something. And since I was selfish and plugged myself, if you want to plug your own projects, by all means. Or if you want to plug something else, whatever your heart says.
Maybe next time. Just jumping off that Criterion Collection thing, they are just releasing a kind of lost Godzilla film, if you will. It's Godzilla vs. Biollante from 1989. It's the second Godzilla film in the Heisei era, which is the first being The Return of Godzilla from 1984. But this one is the one that is the first in the series of Heisei films that ends with Godzilla vs. Destroya, which all follow a kind of arc with same characters in some of the films and stuff. And Biollante, famously, the rights to that one were really fudged for 20 years. So there's only one Blu-ray release. It's hundreds of dollars. Or you can do like me and buy a suspiciously cheap version from Poland. But Criterion now has it, and they just released it. My pre-order just got shipped. And so if you get a chance, it's probably going to be on the Criterion channel, and definitely has a Blu-ray release. But check out Godzilla vs. Biollante. It features a soundtrack by Dragon Quest's Koichi Sugiyama, which was considered so bad that Akira Ifukube, the original composer of Godzilla, stepped out of retirement to do several more films after that, up till his death, because he felt like Koichi Sugiyama screwed it up so hard.
That's something to be known for.
Yeah. It's, 1989, Dragon Quest is only 3 games in deep, but if you listen to the soundtrack to Godzilla vs. Biollante, which you can on YouTube, somebody put together the whole soundtrack, it sounds like a kind of Dragon Quest 8 or 9 era Dragon Quest soundtrack. So it's kind of amazing. But it also features some of the coolest costume and prop work for the giant Biollante that almost swallows Godzilla, because they did that with practical effects. So they at very least had to build a man in a rubber suit sized monster that could eat that. So definitely check that film out. It is so cool and so goofy, but also just really amazing in its own right. So do it.
And I guess while we're talking about rare Blu-rays, one last thing I'll mention is for those of you who care about obscure or rare physical media, Kevin Smith has regained the rights to Dogma and will be releasing, because famously that is one of the hardest physical medias to get because they weren't printing them.
Why did he lose the rights to Dogma?
He never had them. Harvey Weinstein had them and wanted...
Jesus Christ. Okay. I
And
kind of
wanted
choked
an
a little bit when you said that.
Harvey Weinstein had them and wanted an absurd amount of money for them.
Okay.
And Kevin Smith was like, I'm not giving that man a dime. So how
He
he
just
got
had
the
to wait
rights
for him to go to prison.
when he went to prison, the price went up. He was like, "No, I gotta pay. I got stuff to pay." But no, Kevin Smith managed to get the rights back, and he is talking about doing a re-release of physical media and a Dogma 2.
Interesting.
So,
Nice.
anyway, now that we're done with our movie discussion that I started, I'm sorry. I love movies.
how this podcast just kind of goes off track sometimes. It's my
next
favorite
time.
thing about it.
Next time, our penultimate Sequel Palooza
Yeah.
episode, Golden Sun 2.
Yay.
We'll see you guys then.
Shorter episode.
Bye.
The RNG is a presentation of Mad Centaur Productions. You can find Jeff on YouTube at youtube.com/Centaur Productions or on Twitter at Jeff Centaur. You can find Russ on Twitter at RussMac25. You can find Chris on Twitch at twitch.tv/LiarExaggerate or on Twitter at EnrichFlavor. Thank you for listening, and remember to save your game before powering off this podcast.
So my family, before dinner, watches this game show on the Game Show Network called Split Second. This is what my stepdad likes to watch before we eat. And one of the questions was, no, I'm sorry. It was not Split Second. This was after Split Second. And we just saw the
I already feel lied to.
beginning of the episode. But anyway, the question was, what was the name of Betty White's character on The Golden Girls? And the options were A, Iris, B, Rose, or C, Daisy. Can you guess what answer was selected by the contestant?
Not Rose.
C, Daisy. She said, well, I've never seen the show, which is homophobic.
I've also never seen the show, even though I sing the song with you.
I have
all
seen the
time.
show. I'm an ally.
Yeah, thank you. But you know through cultural osmosis that it's Rose.
Yes, I do know that.
This
it's
woman
Rose.
did not. This woman had, as if never heard of the Golden Girls or Betty White. I was offended. I was personally offended.
I'm sorry you had to suffer through that.
I know that Rose's sisters' names are Holly.
The look on your face as you realize the second
Lily,
name wasn't coming.
Lily is the blind one, and Holly is the one that steals Blanche's boyfriend.
I just watched
While she's
Russ's
in town.
entire brain reboot in front of me.
I mean, it's happening more and more recently.
It just blue screened and rebooted right in front of my
Yeah.
eyes.
So no, Betty White did not play Daisy in The Golden Girls. She played Rose.
No, Daisy's upstairs in a little wooden box.
Exactly.
She was a good girl. All right. Are we ready?
Mystic Arc. Yes. Am I too loud?
No, you're always too soft, so I
Okay.
need you pumped up.